Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Postgame Show, live from the Toyota Lounge, a loser's lounge, unfortunately, but still powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by Bet365. We've got Bailey and Rudo coming to you live as the Avs lose their second game in a row in Florida, this time to the Tampa Bay Lightning, 4-2, with an empty netter at the end of it. Bailey, I don't think either of us are particularly concerned with the fact that the Avs lost. Is there some concern about the way they lost, though?
That's my first thought going into this is you don't have too many expectations coming out of this one, but after seeing how especially the first two periods start to play out a little bit, especially after that second period, I think it starts to sting just a little bit more, knowing that that point was within reach.
Was right there.
So
could have had it.
That's where I kind of get hit upside the head just a little bit with this. Is they're so close, and your top guys are
no shows.
The reason, no shows, and it ultimately the reason you drop this.
Yep.
There's no excuse.
Let's hit the 60-second rundown and then come up with some excuses. First period, even at times, but Tampa ultimately pulls ahead with a power play late that they capitalize on, and I do think we'll talk about that penalty kill. It's 1-0 after one. The Avs have a good second. They score twice, including one early from your depth guys. Parker Kelly's the one to bang it into the net. And then Brock Nelson, you kill a penalty, and he streaks down the ice and gives you a lead. Unfortunately, you give that lead back as just too many times the Avs get hemmed in their own zone in this game, and tired legs make bad plays. It's 2-2 after the second. Still very much within reach. At 5-on-5, the Avs pretty thoroughly get outplayed in the third period. Tampa takes care of business up and down the ice. And another play that ultimately ends up in the back of your net because you can't get the puck out makes it 3-2. And the empty netter in the end makes it 4-2 where the Avs can't overcome the deficit. That's it. That's all I got. My voice sounds like that third period at this point, it feels like.
Basically.
Yeah, look. This was going to happen at some point in the season where the Avs were going to play some tough games and not get away with it. The fact that it's happening with a handful of guys out on a 3-4 stretch on the road against some really good teams should not surprise anyone.
And I think the mindset going into this was very evident from a team perspective, too, because after the Carolina game, Bednar was very quick to say, like, this is about as
rough
much
as
of a
it
gauntlet
gets,
as a road trip can get. You've got three very aggressive teams in Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay that are going to grit and push you hard. And with as fast as this Avs team plays, sometimes getting caught in a system like that can make or break you. If you're not on top of your game, if your top guys aren't performing the way that they need to. And that's ultimately, you get that out of a Carolina game just a little bit. But ultimately, things start to fall flat a little bit for this team.
I mean, Nathan MacKinnon hasn't beat a goaltender in 11 periods, which I know for like a normal player, you're like, okay, so what?
You're talking about one of the top two guys in the NHL in scoring, a guy who before tonight had the lead on McDavid.
Right. And I have zero long-term worries about Nathan MacKinnon, but you put yourself in a situation like the Avs are in this game with some adversity, and it falls on your top guys. I said it in the pregame. You need your top guys to be great in this game, and none of them were. I would argue Nathan MacKinnon actively bad.
Mm-hmm. Your best guy out there is Cale Makar. And that's not saying
I don't know that I agree with that, to be honest.
Like, he gets the assist.
He gets a point.
He gets a point out of the night.
Directly at fault for the second goal from Tampa.
That's kind of where I'm going with that too. Is that's not really saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
When you're talking about your top guys, if that's the best that you're getting out of your top three best players on the team, that's not good enough.
How are you going to win?
No,
Right?
you're not. And this is a guy we're talking about early on in the season who's leading all defensemen in assists.
Yep.
He's leading a lot of forwards in the league in points, period. Yeah. It's not... I hate to say it's not okay, but it really, like, that's the best that I can come up with for that. It's when you're expecting your best guy to be the guy that shows up and out when you're playing as many minutes in a night as Cale Makar does, something Jared Bednar said in the past too. You need to make something positive out of the minutes that you are given. And when Cale Makar plays close to 30 minutes some nights,
right,
that's not acceptable.
You can't give a guy 30 minutes if... I know we're going out of order here, but it's fine. Like, yes, Nathan MacKinnon was a lost puppy in the defensive zone tonight. He was truly terrible there. Marty H is always bad in his own zone. But on the game-time goal, Cale Makar makes an active decision to take away the pass. He takes the player that you would pass to, and the pass comes through, and Makar doesn't do anything. He's standing there like a bystander. Yeah, like... He doesn't take the body. He doesn't win position. He doesn't take the stick. And it's a tap-in, ultimately. No,
and, like, looking at that slowed down, too, the tie-up, like, the only thing you could maybe give him there is he's got his stick some sort of tied up in front of the net, but even then it's lazy.
Yeah, if you get beat that badly, strength and position-wise, you need to be chopping that dude's stick in half. Like, you cannot let him play that puck clean.
No.
And he does.
Yeah. That's ultimately what that comes down to. Like, again, the best play that you're getting out of your top guys is that assist on that Brock Nelson goal. And that's...
And, like, good play, but not special.
No.
You don't give a guy a bajillion-dollar contract for that play.
No.
And the Avs didn't get anything from any of their bajillion-dollar guys that you needed.
No.
Again, I think you're right. Of the three, Cale Makar at least did something.
Yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon...
And
like, you know, maybe a puck goes in and we're having a different conversation, but
it's not the characteristic Nathan MacKinnon we're used to seeing night in, night out.
Sloppy with the puck.
You don't see him get mad. And something I was saying on the watch along that really kind of grinds my gears here too. I love the late push. I love that we start to see at least some sort of juice out of this team within the last few minutes. I'm getting so sick and tired of it only showing up in the last 3 to 5 minutes of the third period.
I think two things are true here. One, give Tampa Bay a lot of credit. They did a really good job of shutting down the Avs, making the right defensive plays and outworking the Avs. There is some of that Avs push didn't come until Tampa Bay sat back and said, all right, let's defend the 1-goal lead and make sure we take care of this. But two, yeah, I think there's a little hubris from the Colorado Avalanche here, who have spent a season dominating third periods and getting away with it at the last minute in hockey games. And you have Gabe Landeskog and Devon Toews in the lineup. Maybe we're having a different conversation. But you're down. Guys, you're down in this game. You're tired. You need to push from the beginning of the third period. You need to assert yourself in these games, because you're not going to get away with it every single time.
I was going to potentially pose this question later in the podcast too, but I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Who do you think the guys miss more tonight? Gabe Landeskog or Devon Toews?
I actually think it might be a push. I might get to say both for once on a question.
Yeah, there you go.
It's supposed to be Toews. It's supposed to be Devon Toews that they missed tonight. And there were wildly deep problems with your defense. As a whole, you can't play Ilya Solovyov again. I'm sorry, but it's just, he doesn't know where he needs to be at any given time on the ice. And if you aren't nailing down the systems in practice as the seventh guy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. I know he even gets an assist in this game, but the defense was just not something you can live with from your number 7.
You can't be looking like you need a map in 90% of a game when you've spent half of the season practicing with the team, learning the system. Like, it's your 7th D-man should be a serviceable guy. If one of your top guys goes down, looking at it, like, I mean, last season, like an Eric Johnson who you can put in and at least has a role. I can't say that I can definitively look at an Ilya Solovyov and say, okay, this is your role. Like, this is what you are meant to do on this team.
His role is spinning in circles, looking around in front of his own net, not knowing what to do. At least that's what it was in this game. It was a struggle for him. The rest of your defense, I have less of an excuse for. I know you're getting weird pairings. You're doing this. You're doing that. Weird pairings should not make it harder for you to get a puck out of the zone.
No.
Just don't throw it to the Tampa Bay guys. Throw it where they're not. And I know that's easier said than done, but far too many shifts get extended in Tampa Bay offensive zone because the Avs weak, lazy clears, not effective, not looking, not using their eyeballs when they needed to be.
No, that's uncharacteristic of this team. And there are far too many times I'm looking at Girard a couple times. I'm looking at a Martin Netjes a few times too, who had some egregious turnovers in the defensive zone. Yeah. It's just even in the offensive zone too. Like, that can't happen.
And that's the other side, and why I think it might be both, even though it shouldn't be. Nathan MacKinnon has been serviceable this year defensively. He's never going to be great. Tonight was as bad as it gets for him. I know 100% Kale's fault on the second goal. Nathan MacKinnon is flying the zone as that play is happening.
Shooting up the middle of the ice where?
Right. It's a 2-on-1 down low, and sure, maybe you want your defenseman to be back there, but as the center, MacKinnon is supposed to be the F3 and supposed to be the guy that helps there. If MacKinnon is back, Kale can go challenge the puck carrier, and is MacKinnon going to make the play on the backside? Who knows? But Kale maybe gets in the passing lane, does something different, and makes that work. And I'm not of the illusion that the Avs need great defense from MacKinnon and Natchez, but they can't completely collapse in the defensive zone if they're not with Gabe Landeskog all of a sudden. Like, it can't go straight into the bin. Arturi Lehkonen is a fine defensive forward. You should not really have that much of an issue defensively with that line swapping Landy for Lehkonen, and it was just ugly tonight.
That's what you saw for a majority of the season so far, is Lehkonen being a serviceable addition to what is a really dangerous offensive pairing or an offensive line. It works out for you. The only reason you put a Landeskog up there too is he adds a lot of grit there that maybe a Lehkonen can be. But like, you're getting a lot of that gritty play that Lehkonen services down the lineup as well, getting him in front of the net where I don't know. Like, I think the chemistry between a Landeskog and a MacKinnon works a little bit better. But despite that,
it can't be that black and white. Yeah.
Right. No, it really can't. And when you see a Lehkonen and a MacKinnon work as well as it did for a majority of the season anyway, too, like, that's not an excuse for me for it to go that far downhill. You survive without Landeskog for 3 seasons. Right. This is
not something new.
No. This should be something you can, like, it sucks. Absolutely it sucks not having your captain back in the lineup after having that taste of having him not only back in the locker room but back on the ice. But there is no excuse, knowing that you know how to play and you know how to win hockey games without Gabriel Landeskog in the lineup.
Yep. It shouldn't be that difficult to adjust for your forward core. For your defense, I get it. There's a hard step up that a lot of guys had to take, and you didn't get great stuff. I'm more forgiving of that than what I am from the Avs' top guys in this game. So we do need to take our first break and shout out our sponsors, though, including, look, you're looking for more reliability than you got from the Avs defensively in this game, go get yourself some Xfinity Wi-Fi. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi and you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's Xfinity's 5-year price guarantee. And here's the best part: no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me, a lock and change in 5 years. There are championships that are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Of course, select plans only. Restrictions apply. Go get with Xfinity today. Again, Xfinity.com for more information. Once you've got your Xfinity Wi-Fi sorted out, get on over to BreckBrew.com and check out the official craft beer of DNVR. You can get it here at the bar. I personally love the DNVR Avalanche Amber Ale. Highly recommend. It's one of the best ambers out there and one of the few places that still make a good amber. But they have dozens of flavors, something you can get for everyone, whether you like a IPA or maybe you like a wheat ale. They've got sours. They've got all sorts of different stuff. Something for everyone. And they've been doing it for more than 33 years. So get with Breck Brew, made with 100% renewable energy. You can find them anywhere in the U.S. when you check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com. Find it near you there. And also, check out their merch. Their merch is actually pretty sick. Everyone loves their hats. Every time we show one off, everyone's like, where do I get that? breckbrew.com. That's the place to get it. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. A number of different things still to get into here. Special teams. I think you can make an argument that the Avs lost this game because of special teams. And that ties directly into your best players are on your power play. They go 0 for 2 tonight. The first one, not bad. Did a decent job of generating opportunities. The second one, it's at the start of the third period. It's a 2-2 game, a chance to put you ahead and on top, and you get one shot attempt. It goes on net, so good job, I guess, but one shot attempt in 2 minutes of power play is not good enough.
No. And especially when you pair that with failed PK.
Yeah.
To end the first period. That's ultimately, like, you win hockey games usually 9 times out of 10 by winning that special teams battle.
Right.
And that first power play looks great. You're getting multiple shot attempts. That puck is, for the most part, consistently moving. I really like kind of what McKinnon's doing towards the top of the zone. But there's no reason, if your power play is going to look that bad a second time around, your penalty kill has to be perfect. And for the most part, it has been this season. It has been the least of the Avs' issues. But in a crunch time where you're trying some new things out with the power play and you can't consistently rely on it, you have to be shut down in other areas of the ice.
Look, at the end of the day, Tampa Bay's best players showed up and did the job on the power play that the Avs couldn't do. Tampa's power play hasn't been particularly special this year either, but it's a difference in this game. And again, we're looking at this game in a vacuum. Big picture, I don't care.
No.
Throw everything about this away. It's a 3-4. The Avs clearly didn't have great legs, even if they had that push at the end of the game. They honestly played them pretty even for 45 minutes. Tampa didn't really take over the game until about 5 minutes into the third period. The Avs were fighting, and you ultimately come up a little bit short. The PK they got scored on concerns me, though. You basically gave Nikita Kucherov free reign to do whatever he wanted. And sure, you're scared. You're scared you're going to get put on a poster by Nikita Kucherov. I get it. If you're going to play that way, don't go out on the penalty kill.
No.
You have to challenge that guy. You cannot give him free reign 10 feet from your net to do whatever he wants with the puck. He's ultimately going to beat you.
Yeah.
Make him beat you. Challenge that. And we saw it. The second PK they did, and it was a much better PK.
Yeah. No, Malinsky realizes it a step too late.
Yep.
And because of it, too, Kucherov's already got that vision of the ice.
Yeah.
He finds Jake Gensel.
Right.
Therefore, Jake Gensel's not a guy you want to give a whole lot of space
It
either.
is not.
Especially when in proximity to the net where he was. It burns him.
Yeah.
And you can't learn that as late as the Avs ended up doing that. And I will go as far to say, too, is I really liked this game from Malinsky a lot more than I did on
Malinsky,
Sunday.
Maybe their best defenseman in this game. I know Makar got a point, but Malinsky was the only one consistently getting pucks going the right direction effectively.
Yeah. So I want to give him his flowers there, but ultimately, that lack of vision there, and it's not just on Malinsky. Malinsky's the closest defenseman there, but the way that the Avs PK cycles, it's not just a one-man job. You gotta not only help out a guy like Malinsky and covering the ice that he leaves open, but you're leaving Wedgwood vulnerable there too.
It's not like this is some secret surprise. The Avs play against their own power play all year in practice. They know the solution is challenge. Get on pucks. Make them make a play that's better than you. And they didn't do that for one penalty kill, and it puts them in the bin. And I also think it's another shot across the bow to the Avs power play that it's like, yeah, when you give good players power plays, they do stuff with it and score goals.
That's a crazy concept.
Hello. Like,
what the heck? Yeah.
Pretty darn frustrating on that front for the Avs to maybe their legs die in the third period and they lose the game anyway. We don't live in this timeline. I don't know. But we talked about the Avs with the adversity they're up against right now, needing to make their lives easier. And they just did not do that enough tonight.
I remember looking, you asked part of the way through the third period too what shots looked like.
Yeah, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad.
They ended up with 13 shots on net in the third period, beating out Tampa Bay's 6.
Yeah, which is cool, but again, where was that for the first half of the third period?
I wholeheartedly agree.
It's some of that I get is human nature. Some of that is, again, I do not want to undersell Tampa. They were excellent at times defensively in this game. But some of that is also, I'm loath to call it laziness. I do think this is more so the Avs just had nothing left at the end of a road trip. Mm-hmm. But at times I think there was some half-hearted effort from Colorado during this game.
No, it comes down to you can still at least attempt to make a 60-minute effort with tired legs. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the idea of throwing it all out there at in the last half of the period is a futile effort sometimes. Yeah. The Avs have gotten lucky this season where things like that have worked for them. And they pull a Wedgwood and Cale Makar comes in to save the day. This isn't going to be the game that Cale Makar comes and saves you. No. This isn't going to be the game. McKinnon can come out to play a little bit. We didn't see that very much. But in a game where you're looking, you see it a little bit, but not nearly as much as you'd like to. Especially when you considered that, half-hearted effort from him for the rest of the game.
Like, I think two things can be true again. The Avs are built where in those moments, they frankly need that from Nathan MacKinnon. Mm-hmm. That's who they are. That's who Nathan MacKinnon is. That's who Cale Makar is. They need that sometimes. But I don't think it took a experienced hockey eye to see Nathan MacKinnon probably didn't have it tonight. Yeah. So someone else needs to step up and make that next big play. Someone else needs to get it done. And, Brock Nelson scores the goal. That's nice. You get that from your second line. But you look at some of the guys who moved up the lineup tonight. Did you notice Victor Olofsson once on the second line tonight? A missed opportunity for a number of guys in the Avs forward core.
You need more.
Yep.
I don't know how else to say it. When you're not getting that from a Nathan MacKinnon, from a Martin Necas, you need the guys that you brought in during the offseason. They're new to the system. So maybe there's that excuse. Maybe. I'm very hesitant to give them that maybe because they play next to the guys that they do who are having as much success as they are. I mean, Brock Nelson's had a little bit more time to adjust, but I mean, he had a slow start to the season and he's stepped it up spectacularly. So I don't want that maybe to be an excuse. You've had the time. You've had over half a season at this point to sit and adjust and apply what you're good at to a system that we've seen you thrive in. We've seen what he's capable of. I look back at the game where they dominated the New Jersey Devils, and where are games like that now for Victor Olofsson? It's abysmal.
Yeah, it's rough
from a guy like him.
You have weird nights from guys. Zagar Partakov makes a huge play, gets you your first goal of the game.
I'm still. It may have been an accident. I'm giving that one to him.
The point counts the same. Yeah. So either way, and then he also takes just a terrible penalty.
That's 2 in 3 games that are egregiously
This is not
bad.
it's a tough penalty. This is you cannot do that in the NHL.
There's a seat in the press box with your name on it as soon as you get back to Denver. Yeah. That's unfortunately how that goes.
Right. So that's tough. I actually really like Gavin Brindley tonight. Of the guys who had legs, I think he was one of them. You would love, I do think at times he falls into that category if he was 2% more skilled, but.
I mean, you give him a little bit more skill and a little bit more body and height. Like
that would work too, yeah.
Because, I mean, there were a couple different opportunities. He put on a great forecheck for this team in multiple different situations. And if he's got a little bit more size to utilize some physicality, he wins some of those board battles, and maybe some of that ozone possession works out in the Avs' favor a little bit more. I loved Gavin Brindley tonight.
I wouldn't go so far as loved, but I did like
as far
him.
as everybody else's effort.
Probably the most. Parker Kelly I probably like more than Brindley in the bottom six.
You know, that's valid.
Him and Brindley were the only two that I was really happy with their game.
Yep.
Look, it continues to be a weird game looking at the statistics. Brock Nelson scores a massive goal for you. Makes it 2-1, gives you a lead, puts the Avs in the driver's seat that they ultimately blow. That's a great goal. It's big. It's coming off of a weird penalty kill. You just get your guy out of the box situation. The only forward line that was above water tonight was your first line. And I know they didn't score and all that, and I'm Nathan McKinnon's number one not good enough guy tonight. But your bottom six is underwater. Your second line, possession-wise, was brutally bad. Great goal from Nelson, but you're not playing effective hockey for the vast majority of this game when you look at the Avs' bottom nine, too. For maybe the first time this year, maybe it's your second or third, depending on how you feel about a couple of games, the Avs pretty cleanly got outplayed at 5-on-5. Not by a ton, but they got outplayed.
Yeah, and I am apt to give them a little bit of grace.
For sure.
Here too.
For sure.
Like context matters.
It does.
In games like this. Like beating this up and down, like you're glad that when looking at this, your top line is performing better, quote unquote. Still not good enough, but to know that they're above water, like that's, I guess there's a little bit of hope there, but they're tired. There are 0 legs left. 3 games in 4 days. Brutal road trip. I give them grace. Here, I think.
Things stacked up a lot, too, in ways that you maybe don't think about. You lose Landeskog in the middle of that game. You have to play with 11 forwards for the rest of the game. That's adding extra weight on their legs, which is...
You see that, like, physically affect some of these guys, too. Like, Nathan McKinnon, again, until the last couple minutes of that Florida game, does not look like himself characteristically. Same thing goes for a game like this.
And on the back end, the Devon Taves injury was pretty clean cut, but... you set yourself up for failure when you have defensemen taking penalties. Now you're dropped to 5 D-men who have to PK for you. And on already tired legs. You're only burning yourself more in situations like that. Sam Girard takes an uncalled elbow to the face. He's fine, thankfully, but he has to go back down the tunnel, and you're playing with 5D for a handful of minutes on already tired legs.
Maybe only 4 of which you can trust. Right. At that point, too.
Might be more like 3.5 sometimes. And it's tough. I actually didn't look up. How much did Solovyov end up playing in this game? I don't even know.
He finished with 12 minutes, 53 seconds.
So not like crazy low.
No.
It's not like an outrageous amount.
This is a game where I don't expect many guys. There's not a whole lot of shortening of the bench here. The only 2 guys you're seeing play under 10 minutes is Zakhar Bardakov and Taylor McCarr, one of which I absolutely get. He's played how many NHL games?
Sure.
So
it's like 6 now? 5? I don't know.
Which, cool, you get to play with your brother, but like there's when you're called up from the AHL like that, no matter how much Jared Bednar and company.
You're not playing in a close game, and this game was close the whole time.
So and then Zakhar Bardakov, he did some good things, but he also did some bad things that I understandably cut his minutes. But for the most part, you're not seeing much shortening of the bench. Every single guy is needed in a game like this, where you're on that last game. You're playing against a really aggressive opponent, arguably the best team in the East.
Yeah.
You need everyone in a game like this.
You did, and you didn't get enough out of too many of those guys, unfortunately. You end up losing. I think it's worth noting, this is a random game in January. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
It's
our job to an extent.
We're getting down to the micro details of like, here's why this is bad, but this doesn't happen in the playoffs. You don't get a 3-4 going up against a rested team in the playoffs. You're playing against a team who's on the exact same rest as you. They're on the exact same schedule as you. You're not going to have more tired legs than they are. So the Avs couldn't overcome it tonight. In this day, that sucks. In the big picture, Dallas also lost tonight. Like, they lost no ground, and they're still double-digit points ahead of everybody else.
I also, in looking at some of the charts via natural stat trick too, and the Lightning had the main lead on this game. Like, they were the better team. They were absolutely the better team for most of this, and the Avs were still this close to 1 point.
Right. It's funny because you watch. Oh, the Avs lost 2 in a row in regulation. That's so tough. They played both of these teams super close under pretty dire circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, a weaker team is taking a lot of positives out of this weekend, or not weekend, but week. And the Avs are like, not good enough, got to do better. Yeah. That's the end of the story. So that's how good they really are. We do need to take our second break of the show. So let's shout out a couple more of our sponsors, including New Built Restoration and Construction. Can they rebuild my vocal cords? I would appreciate that. No, they work on actual buildings. They're licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or small. Yes, they do, of course, help in emergencies and bad situations, but they also do commercial projects too. So whatever you need, you can get with New Built. They're available 24/7 and truly care about being there for their customers. They'll work with your insurance, too, to make sure a stressful process is as smooth as possible. They have repair services that include fire damage, water damage, mold removal, and much, much more. And they're a true fan of DNVR, so make sure you get with them and support part of the DNVR community. When that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there at newbuilt.com. That's NUBILT.com. Or you can call 720-903-4254 and let them know DNVR sent you over there. If you've gotten with New Built, you know what? Maybe you get a new house. It's time for a new car, too. I don't know. Is that a good transition? You tell me, chat. Get with the official vehicle of the DNVR and get with Toyota, who are also the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. They have a vehicle for everyone. Trucks have been in their DNA for generations. They also have 17 different vehicles with all-wheel or four-wheel drive like the Epic 4Runner. So when you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, you are covered with Toyota. They've got the Tacoma, if you're into trucks, the Land Cruiser for SUVs. They've got sedans, too, and the most low or zero-emission vehicles of any automaker out there with 16 different hybrids if you're looking to save money on your commute. They even have hybrid trucks. So get with your local Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota Rapid Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mount States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of DNVR, Toyota, let's go places. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. How much work do you feel like comes out of this game from the coaching staff? Or is this for you and me? Throw this game in the bin. Same for the Avs, or do you look at some stuff from today and really pick and prod?
I think you take a look at special teams, obviously, just out of obligation, because this game is no exception when you look at how poor the power play has been. So, take that out of it, obviously. There's definitely, with a lot of that moving around that's happening, with some of that restructuring that's happening, you need to take a look at the penalty kill. Obviously, There's some things to look at there. Different type of system than maybe you're used to defending against. you can't leave Kucherov like that. You can't leave a guy that close to the net and Jake Gensel. Like, it's
some pressure. I'm not saying lose your mind and sprint to the blue line, but some pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so those are the two takeaways you take from this. Otherwise, it's a chuck it.
All right.
For me.
Fair enough.
Again, I bring it back to that context matters, and just looking at where it is in the schedule. Yeah, it sucks. This is your fourth regulation loss, second in a row. What you've come to expect from this team, that in our eyes, it's really easy to say that that's unacceptable. It's really easy to say that that's not what this Avs team is capable of. Like, they are capable of so much more. That ceiling is so much higher, even with a lot of that talent missing from a guy like Gabe Landeskog or Devon Toews. But
they're 6 days into January and have as many losses as they did for
half
3
the
full
season.
months in 2025. So it's definitely not. There's no reason to feel good about these games. I don't even know if that's true. There are things you can feel good about, but there's no reason to feel good about the results of these last 2 games. But I also think you can pretty comfortably say the Avs will be better when they're rested, when they've sorted out some of their lineup. Not even necessarily getting guys back, but just getting comfortable with being without a guy like a Landy or a Taves.
I think it's also worth looking at the schedule they have for the next couple of days as well.
True.
They've got 7 games at home, 2 of which have a 2+ day break between them, which is not like, that's a luxury.
You're going to get a bit of rest. You do have a little bit of a stretch where you're still playing every other day for the next week.
Yeah.
But they are all at home.
Yeah. No, and again, you have a couple of those where you get a 2-day break. Maybe you're practicing for 1 or 2 of those. There is one stretch where you have 3 days in between games.
Yep.
This is a kind of opportunity where you look at a gauntlet of a road trip like this was, and breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I wish I could sit here and say you survived, but you didn't.
You didn't.
Now it's recuperation time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, when I look at survive, like, I think of, you're not any more injured than
You survived tonight in that regard.
Tonight.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But for the most part, like, your guys were good enough to hop on a plane and go home. They don't have to stay in Florida for treatment. You survived that aspect of it. And as far as we are aware, miss some time does not mean the rest of the season. So you're going to get your guys back. You survived that.
Yep.
Now you have around 2 weeks to sit and make up for it. Or you have multiple days of rest. You get to be home with your family, sleeping in your own bed, recuperating. Take that opportunity to look back on, yes, what can you improve? Because if these are teams that are a gauntlet for a reason, these are teams you could actually end up facing in a Stanley Cup final should it get to that point. So obviously, like, yes, chuck it in the bin in the sense of, like, you're tired. It's a hard game. It's a hard fought couple days. But ultimately, like, these are tough teams to play, and you need to be prepared to potentially face that later down the road.
I would say there's a very high likelihood that the 3 teams the Avs played on this road trip, one of them comes out of the East.
Yeah.
And if the Avs get there and are playing them, great. Things have gone really well. That's you can have that problem in June. But it's a fair shout that these are tough teams. And do the Avs play their A game? No. But there's also context that we've talked about on that. The other thing, though, about getting home for them is they are likely to get some reinforcements. You're likely, Mackenzie Blackwood should be good to go, if not for the first game back relatively quickly, which is a nice segue into Scott Wedgwood. Obviously, long shifts in your own zone, plenty of defensive problems. Do you want that third one back if you're Scott?
Not everybody can be an Andrei Vasilevsky, who is a god with the glove, and how quickly he moves on that glove side. With that said,
sure,
like, it's some of that. He sees it.
Yeah,
and I think that's what sticks with me most.
Yeah, I agree.
Is he sees it, and he's still a little
Tracks
bit late
with the head, not with
it.
the body.
Yeah, so. That's what kind of gets me. Scott Wedgwood is by all means an incredible goaltender.
Yeah.
When I was looking
this game is not his fault.
No, not at all. And looking at early Vezina projections. Like, he sits at 4th on the list from where I saw. Like, that's no slouch.
Yeah.
But it's situations like that where, I mean, we talked about it in pregame where you need a big game out of a Scott Wedgwood who I anticipated being left out to high and dry in some of these.
And
you need those big saves. And he made some of the big ones.
Made a few.
But that one is one that it made or broke the game.
Yeah. You needed a superstar play from somebody, and you just didn't get it. Is that too much to ask from Wedgwood? Honestly, probably. Like, I don't think that's an expectation you can have, but you can hope for it. And all of that compiles into a game where the Avs just don't have enough.
No, not at all. And, I mean, Scott Wedgwood has more than done his job this season, too.
He's
so, like,
18-3-4. Like.
Yeah, it's there's nothing in my mind that, like, if Mackenzie Blackwood is not ready to go here, there's that he can do this. I do want to mention that Taylor McCarr was very quickly sent back to the Eagles. Trent Miner was not.
Yeah, so maybe Blackwood isn't good to go.
There's some. I mean, you still got a day or so to make that decision, but let the guys get home and then make that decision, figure that out. But there's no doubt in my mind that even in a game like this where, you give up that one, like...
Softish. I wouldn't even call it soft, but...
No, it's a quick snap. It's a sharp shot.
Yep.
And, yes, you track it with the head. You can't get the glove up in time.
Yeah.
But he made all of the other important saves that, he could have.
His game was close because he made enough that... Yeah. You wanted someone else to pick up the slack, and the Avs just didn't get it.
He's already on track for playing the most games he has in a season in his career.
Yeah.
So, and he's playing some of the best hockey of his career that I'd wager.
For sure.
So, like, you'd like that one back. I'm sure with the elite mindset that he's going into this season with, he'd absolutely like that one back. But there's... Like, I'm willing to chuck that into the context bin.
Yeah, there's...
Because goaltenders can get tired, too, under pressure.
Even if you're extremely upset with the 2 losses, which we are not, these situations are always about how you respond. If you let this 2-game losing streak turn into 6, you're Dallas. Mm-hmm. If you get home, you start winning games with what you have... You are untouchable at the top of the league still. Mm-hmm. So,
and it's unfortunate that these lulls are happening at the same time. And I don't know if it takes more than, I think, 2 games to call a lull, but there's some conversation to be had that this is the biggest adversity the Avs have faced this season. Yes, the power play sucks, but you're missing 2 guys who are core pieces of this locker room.
Yep. I think it's easily the biggest adversity they've faced. And you can't say you've answered that adversity yet. Mm-mm. You have 2 losses, but you'll have a new day and you'll have the opportunity to go out and answer it. And I don't think there's any reason to doubt this team's ability to answer that adversity eventually. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong and they could go lose 4 games in a row. I don't know. But you look at how good this team is on paper, how good this team has been this year. The fact that given all of this context, and they're still, sure, empty netter made it a 2-goal game, but they really lost this game by 1. Mm-hmm. They really lost the Florida game by 1.
Yep.
If that's as bad as it gets, you're going to end up getting back in the driver's seat and winning a bunch more games.
And even looking at this roster, again, on paper, looking at the way Nathan MacKinnon kind of leads as well, they're not a team that's a sit back and take it for more than 2 games.
Look at the end of this game.
Yeah. So, like, that's there. You can expect a push at some point in the season or at some point in the game. Yes, you'd like to see that earlier, and I could talk about that till I'm black and blue in the face. Like, it's a valid point, I would wager, but they're not a team that's going to just sit back and let guys stomp all over them because, Gabe Landeskog's out of the lineup. Devon Taves is not here. We can't play defense. That's not, like, when you talk about narrative and identity, that's not what this team has gone into this season with. The big word that's come up is hungry and resiliency. Yeah. They need to lean into that a little more to start this homestand.
Frankly, if you are one of the people that is concerned about softness, I think Tampa was far softer than the Avs in this game. At every turn, when stuff started to get mucking up, the Avs guys jumped in there. Didn't matter if it was McKinnon or Lehkonen or Manson or anyone up and down the lineup.
Manson was going to be the one that I brought up. A couple different guys skittered away.
Yeah, soft as hell from Eric Chernak in this game. That dude is being a pest, messing with stuff, poking the bear, and Manson comes over and he just says, "Nah, I'm good, man. I'm out."
Like he's getting dragged down to the ice by his helmet, and you can't stand up for more than what, because your guys start flooding the ice.
Yeah, you
start flooding the area, and you can't sit there and own up to your
right,
that's dirty.
It's soft.
It's bad.
Garbage tier stuff. And when time comes, don't worry. The Avs will remember that number and he'll get his. But again, there are positives to take from, call it the Avs' emotional state or whatever you want. They clearly weren't happy with the way this game played out, and that leads to an end of game tussle as well.
And what I think is really important in a game like this, too, where you see those emotions start to get ramped up a little bit and it starts to play a part in the identity of a game. There's a fine line there between using that to your advantage and letting it get out of hand. And the Avs, I think, did a very good job at not letting it own them as a team.
I agree.
In this game. That is, if I'm going to give my flowers to anything, cool on the late period push. Great not letting your emotions get the better of you.
Yeah. You take an extra penalty there, and maybe you get blown out in this game. It could have gotten ugly if the Avs don't control that a little bit. Now, again, I do think Tampa is kind of a whiny hockey team that gets away with a lot, but
not anything the Avs aren't used to, right. Especially from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Call it copium or whatever, but we see that team. I've never seen a head coach complain more than John Cooper.
Especially with some of the calls. Again, I look at that elbow Girard caught to the face too.
That gets uncalled.
Yeah. And you get mad about a call that went missed on your guy minutes later.
Come on, bro. Come on,
read the room just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I'm not officiating is far from the biggest thing here, despite TJ Luxmore being in charge of things tonight, which,
Avs have a bad record with TJ Luxmore.
Yeah, but, even that, I can't place that on him, despite how much I may despise
the Avs lost this game all by themselves.
Yeah, there's, that is, the last thing on the priority list here.
Yeah, for sure. Look internally on that one, for sure. I don't know that. Yeah, I think the fact that this was an East Coast road trip also lessens the blow a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Again, if you're playing one of these teams in the playoffs, you've done well. Mm-hmm. Dropping these games to what could have been a Dallas or a Minnesota would have stung more. Instead, that part of the schedule where the Avs went through the Western Conference, I know they didn't play Dallas, but all the other teams, they won all those ones. Mm-hmm. The timing of this lull, or whatever you want to call it, probably came at a pretty decent time for the Avs. Mm-hmm. You're sitting yourself against some teams that you do not care if you give away points to.
Yeah. I was going to say, Tiff, do we have the next 10 here too to kind of look at this? Yeah, they're not teams that I'm particularly...
Yeah. Ottawa,
weird
super
about.
Super beatable. Columbus, super beatable. By the way, sweet takeover for the Columbus game. We're going to be at that in the suite. There are exactly 3 tickets left. So if you want to get the last few tickets to the suite game, get on it.
It's going to be awesome. AJ's in town to hang out with us.
The whole crew's going to be there. It's going to be sick.
It's going to be so much fun.
Cannot wait for that game. Maybe that's the Avs pick-me-up game and they score 10. Who's to say? Toronto, a good team but beatable. Excuse me. Nashville, super beatable. Mm-hmm. Washington, a good team but beatable.
Yep.
Anaheim, seemingly falling apart.
Yeah. I mean, they still got decent goaltending, but it's yeah.
You've already played the best two teams in this stretch of 10. Mm-hmm. So there should be a little bit of ability to recover.
With that said, not playing down to your competition is going to be huge here too. I think yes, this lull is happening at the best time. You've got some easier opponents, but as we say all the time, hockey's a weird sport.
It is.
It's one of those. I mean, you can look at a Nashville who, on paper, horrible. I mean, horribly managed team. Do not look like they have any sort of chemistry at all whatsoever, and still, I mean, they can come out and put up 5 on you if you're playing down.
Play ugly,
yeah, if you're not playing to your identity. So there's a fine balance here as well. Not letting the loss of 2 of your biggest guys affect that too much.
So big picture, you just lost 2 games in a row by 1 goal each, essentially. And you got 0 points from your best forwards. You got 1 point from Kale, but finishes a net negative in both games. Mm-hmm. And you are going into a 7-game homestand as the best team in the league by a lot.
Yeah.
What's to actually worry about?
There's still something to be said. Yes, this is 2 regulation losses in a row. That's a total of 4 on the season. That is...
Dallas hit double digits now, so the Avs are the only one.
Within single digits, and they are still not above 5.
Yeah.
So that's, there is something to be said about that. They're an okay team. Now... you can go and nitpick the finer things too. Yes, you don't want to make that 3 in a row. If that becomes 3 regulation losses in a row for a team like the Avs, that might become a little bit of a problem because of the proximity of it all.
What is the genuine concern? Would 3 in a row set off panic bells, or how far would you have to go?
Just with the expectation that this team is set, I think there's a little bit of panic. It starts to rise, I think, a little bit. I mean, for me, 3 makes a streak. So,
true. That's true.
There's something to be said about that there. But, I mean, in nitpicking things, too, the Dallas Stars are still at 58 points. The Avs are 1 away from being the first team to 70 points on the season. So,
yep. Doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's... I will say... I know 3 of them were in overtime, but the Avs did have a 4-game losing streak in this season already, and they put that in the rearview mirror real quick.
Yeah. They're also the only team in the league right now with 2 double-digit win streaks. And
keep in mind, and I know the mixing, matching you end up doing is a little bit different, but the Avs have spent stretches of this season without Sam Girard. And they won a bunch of games. Mm-hmm. The Avs have spent stretches of this season without Val Nichushkin. And I think they won all their games without Val in the lineup. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they lost 1 in overtime.
I think there was 1 in there.
Either way, won a bunch of games. Mm-hmm. So this is not... While it is adversity, while Taves and Landy are certainly bigger losses for the time that they're out, this is not into the wild blue yonder for the Avalanche. This is something that they should be able to handle.
No, and especially going back to this homestand coming up, too. They're riding a 15-game win streak at home. This is a team that... Yeah, I mean...
Still has not lost a reg at home.
Right. So that's something to look forward to, is even with some of this top talent missing, there's something about being back in that barn that the Avs should be able to look forward to.
I hope so. I think Toyota Chat's already been talking about it, but I think we all know the pop-off from the top guys is coming. Yes, I can sit here and say I want more from Nathan MacKinnon these last 2 games, but it's not going to take too many more for him to show up and have another 3-4 point night and blow the top off a Ball Arena.
Yeah. Even if we're going to kind of full circle this too, going back to those top 3 guys, looking at the 3, I don't know as though MacKinnon and Makar are my biggest concerns.
Yeah, I really didn't like MacKinnon, but Natchez was also a problem.
Yeah, you're starting to see some of that streakiness come back into play.
Yeah,
and I'm not necessarily he's had a couple points in his not in the last 2 or 3, but you're starting to kind of fall into that hole with a guy who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal to stay here for 8 more years. You need to see that pick up a little bit.
It's just how can you be effective, right? The McKinnon defensive thing is like, yeah, he's not good, but he'll make a play here and there for you. There's just so little expectation out of Marty in the defensive side that it has to be consistent offensively from him. It absolutely has to show up. And when it doesn't, I guess a game like tonight, if you're really trying to doom as hard as you possibly can, which I'm not, but we can argue both sides. A night like tonight makes you worry how much is Marty Nate just a McKinnon merchant? Because if McKinnon is not going, they need Marty to be going. And he really wasn't.
No. It was maybe, I don't know. Like we talked a little bit about that confidence and that selfishness. You need to see more of that, especially when McKinnon is not. You can't expect Marty to be that reliant.
Yep.
On McKinnon when he's having those bad nights. That cannot be a push and pull.
Right.
That cannot be a yin and yang type situation.
Yeah. Ideally, both of them are great together, and that's awesome when you get that. But when one of them is struggling, you would really like the other to step up, for sure. Yeah, and JMV in the Toyota chat saying Vasi played very well tonight. True,
he did.
Tampa played really well tonight. Maybe A- probably. I don't think it was the true A+ game from Tampa, but they executed their game plan very effectively against the Avs. Let's not pretend like Tampa's a bunch of bums out there.
No, not at all. They got the production from where it mattered too, which is the big part. And I mean, Vasilevsky, you look at the cards from pregame too. Maybe goaltending isn't the best, but there's no. If you're looking at Andrei Vasilevsky and saying he's a bad goaltender, you are wrong. I'm sorry. He's
not the superhuman guy he used to be, but he's still good.
Yeah, that's point blank. Period.
I don't know that I have a ton else to say about this one. I don't know how much longer my voice is going to last either, but.
Put on the ruby slippers, guys. There's no place like home.
Yeah, I'm saying they got to get home. You just did a similar flight. That's a long way.
Yeah,
it's a long flight.
It's a long flight. So I know I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go to sleep when I get home. I can't imagine how they're feeling after playing 3 really grueling hockey games.
Those are long days, absolutely. When the Avs do get home, no practice tomorrow. Pretty unsurprising, giving the boys a full rest.
Yep.
I want to be realistic about expectations for the Ottawa game. Does that have to be a bounce back? Or, look, Big E, I would always say on the show, that first home game back is really just another road game. It's a different city. It's a different bed. I know it's your bed, but you haven't been in that bed for a while. Do we worry about that coming into play? Or is this no excuses time for the Avs?
No. If they drop Ottawa, I won't be it hurts because of that long streak that they're on.
Yeah.
But I kind of loop that into it's 2 games without, or 3 games without some of your biggest guys.
Yeah.
If this is still like a kind of learning curve for the Avs, I won't be super upset.
Okay.
I will be if it's a blowout.
Given how for sure.
Given how this Tampa Bay game went, you can't get blown out by Ottawa.
You
can keep it close, get a point out of it, cool, but make it a learning curve. Make it something. Make it a competitive game at least. Like that. That's all I'm asking out of it. Make it competitive, and if you lose, at least you tried.
Hockey happens. Hockey happens.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. We are winding down here. Great time to become a diehard of DNVR in the new year. There's always a bunch of amazing articles from Bailey and AJ up on the site if you want to go read those. You can also help support us. You get a free shirt with your annual diehard membership. So a great option there. You can also check out all of our merch on the DNVR locker. It's the ALLCITY locker now. So go to allcitynetworkstore.com. Bunch of cool stuff on there. Our new hats are out.
Oh, they're so cool.
The Avs one is super sick.
Oh, the
if you
Avs
haven't
one is
seen
awesome,
it.
but that canvas hat is not far behind either.
There's good. All of them are
they're
good.
All awesome.
If you're a hat person, go check out the store. Get
I am
yours.
not a hat person. I think
even
they're
she
sick.
likes them. So you're good there. We are going to wrap this one up. We do appreciate all of y'all hanging out with us, even though the Avs did lose 2 in a row. No matter what happens, you know you can find us here on YouTube. Like, subscribe. That helps us out a lot, too. So we appreciate y'all. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.